Hello, it's Chris and Derek's from Penny's Hot Rods and Customs. Back again working on the 79 Camaro. We're very, very close to getting it painted. We're actually going to be painting it in like 5 minutes probably. Um, Everything's been sanded down, bondoed, what we can. We fixed all the rust, welded up all the panels. It's nice and shiny because we wiped it down with oil and wax remover, so it's ready to be painted. We've done some stuff inside. I can't remember if I showed the consoles all in. We even put a 3-gauge cluster in the center of the console. So that's all working.
It runs nice now.
It runs nice. We swapped the carburetor. It's I rebuilt a Holly 600 that Derek had. So it's not the carburetor that was on there, and it runs perfect now. We still got a few things to do under there. But today is going to be painting day, and so what like we said, before we're going to go flat black, but we've tried something different. We're going to try something different. Some new Black & Decker makes it, but it's epoxy, but it's water based. Flat black. It's for outdoor use. It's water resistant, all that. We done. People might say we're crazy painting it, but other people have done like Tremclad. That's up in Canada. I don't know if Tremclad's in the U.S., but Tremclad or Armor Coat, that stuff's oil based. But it's basically for anything outdoors, cover metal, bare metal, anything wood. And people painted cars with that stuff. The only problem with that stuff is it's not very compatible with regular paints. So if you decide to paint it again, and it sometimes bubbles up and it's hard to sand and shit.
Oh, it's hard.
So we've done test shoots. Well, we have a piece of steel there. We've done several test shoots of that stuff. It sprays quite nicely. No toxic fumes. It's latex. It's water based. It cleans up very nice. We sprayed that piece, let it dry. We sanded it. It sands nice. Doesn't gall up in the paper. Doesn't ball up. Nothing. It sands very nicely. Like better than any primer I've seen. We even tried. Where's that scoop thing of yours?
It's hard to tell now.
Yeah,
But
hard to tell. But we sprayed this with the flat block. Then we sprayed it with regular gray. Is it primer here?
yeah.
Regular gray primer. This is a regular spray can of blue. Same with there, and it sticks to it. Very, very nice. Like no problem at all. We decided to go even further and test sprayed this Fender. It went very well. We got a couple runs in it, and we just did it. Derek just did it really quickly. So, but it went on nice. It looked good. It covered a lot of crap. Like it covered all the Bondo marks. We sprayed it on the edge of here where the plastic. It covered that nice. Then we decided to sand it down, get all the runs out anyways. But it sanded excellent. It adheres to the Bondo adheres to bare metal. It's not like stripping off. So I don't know. So we've decided to basically put a couple coats of this on, and see how it goes. If for some reason it's crappy, well, you can just scuff it and put a color over it if you wanted to.
Yeah.
So it seems good. Like we've sprayed regular paint over top, oil-based paint over top of this once it's dried and cured, and no problem with sticking. So no contamination, no bubbles, no
Fish eyes.
yeah, no fish eyes, none of that stuff. The best thing is just the cleanup. Like you wash your hands with water, soap and water, and you're done. You can walk around here with no masks on, pretty much, with just painting this, and no problem whatsoever there. So if this this is basically a big experiment, but from what we've done a lot of testing with this stuff, not a lot, but enough for us. So we're gonna go with this stuff. It's fairly cheap for that 4 gallon or 4 liter.
Yeah.
That was 78 bucks Canadian.
Yeah.
You don't need a primer. It's primer and paint and epoxy. They only have flat black, semi-gloss, and white and flat white. So there's not a great color choice, but we wanted flat black anyways. So that's good. If this works out as good as this test piece did, we might decide to use that as basically a primer for some of our cars. It's like half the price, easy to put on, easy to sand, easy cleanup.
Yeah.
100% easier than anything else, and you can spray regular. We've tried a little bit of base coat, clear coat on, and no problem whatsoever.
Yeah.
You can spray oil-based paint, whatever, on top of it. If you just scuff it a bit, very easy to work with this stuff. To spray this, we used a cheap Princess Auto, basically spray gun.
Right
Yeah.
there.
So we didn't use any special oil or water-based gun or anything like that. So we're not going to do that. So in the next few minutes, we're going to put some black around the door jambs, because those are all been. And then we're going to start with the fender and the front end and go from there. And depending how cloudy it gets in here, because when we painted that, it's not like floating in the air like regular paint. So we might be able to actually film stuff and not wreck the camera.
Yeah.
So we might film a bit of us or Derek spraying. So next couple minutes we'll get some black on here. Well, we got first coat, just a very light coat. It's not covering 100%. That's what we wanted, because we found out that this stuff, it's not like regular primer. It takes a little bit longer to dry, so therefore it tends to run a little bit. We found out from our test. And we found out one other interesting fun fact about this paint. It doesn't like clear coat. Even scruffing it up with a Scotch-Brite doesn't give it enough bite. So you have to basically take an orbital sander or and get rid of the clear coat, or give it enough bite for it to stick. Otherwise it just globs up, because we did a test shoot in the door jambs, because I just Scotch-Brited those, and it didn't work too good. So we just wiped it off, and I used a can of flat black, the same can I use for the inner fender wells and the engine compartment. Just sprayed that. That went on fine. But yeah, takes a little bit more dry time. And we plan on putting at least 2 coats on here. We'll see how things go. And it, with a lot of, with flat paint, it looks crappy when it's drying. It looks crinkly sometimes with bubbles in it, but then when it dries, it dries nice. When it's, so we're getting there. And we've gotten half the car done, and it's not too bad in here. You can still breathe fine. That's what I like about it. It's not foggy, and I can have the camera out. We're not wearing respirators and masks and hoodies. Not protecting my glasses. Usually my glasses get full of paint and I gotta clean them after, but it smells fine in here. So we'll see if once we're done, if
might actually spray a little bit better with a bigger gun.
Yeah, he's just using his little one. We're filling it up more often, but so far so good. We're putting a very light coat on it. And we'll just keep going around the car until it's done. And I'll show you some more progress spraying. Okay, so Derek just finished putting down a second and sometimes a third coat on a few places. It's still wet up here, but it's overall it's turning out good. Better than I sort of expected too. Besides the problem with the clear coat, because we found out if you don't sand it enough, a clear coat, or at least a clear coat on this enough, that it just doesn't stick. But other places we've sanded it with the orbital sander and it worked fine, or I just hand sanded it and it stuck great. So like I've tried, like where we screwed up, I tried scraping it with my fingernail and it still sticks to, like, after it blobs up. And
I'll show you.
yeah, it was on the trunk too. So it did all this blobbing, but then it stuck here. Here it didn't, so it's not like, and Derek cleaned it very good with wax and grease remover. We went over this thing twice with that, so, but my finger, it makes a mark but doesn't go through it, so it's sticking, but it just
Not 100% dry, but it's whatever chemical reaction happened.
So a little learning there, but
yeah,
overall, like, it covers good. The hood's nice, the roof's fine. This front end, we knew we were gonna have issues because it was rough. Someone had sanded it before, like years and years, and then the sun beat on the plastic and it sort of shrunk the plastic. So Derek had to sand it to get it nice and smooth, and then bonded parts of it. So it was bad. So we probably will end up having to, like, just scuff this down again and then shoot it again, and just to make it a little better.
And get Christopher to do all the fine little work.
Yeah, but the main part, went down nice. It's taking a lot of imperfections. Like if you had a shiny paint job, you would notice, but with the dull, you can't. It's still wet up here, but
the paint hasn't settled yet.
Yeah,
so.
There's a few runs we got to, but we found out you can sand this stuff like after. On the can, it says after an hour, it dries to a touch. After 2 hours, you can basically sand it. After 24 hours, it's waterproof. So you can stick this car out in the outside. It is an epoxy. At least it says it on a can. I don't see why Black & Decker would lie to me. So
yeah.
We mixed it. It's about 30%, so 30% water. Mixed fine. Derek was just using his little spray gun and it worked.
Yeah.
Worked nice.
I can't complain.
No. For that big can was $78 Canadian.
Yeah.
So a little can of Hot Rod Black and activator is like over $200, $250 here. So can't go wrong with the price. And we were standing in here with no masks while we were painting this for the whole time, and I'm not dizzy. My eyes aren't watering, and and cleanup. You just wash your hands with soap and water, and you're done. Like even with the gun, you just wash it with a little bit of water, and then it's.
We do use a respirator when we're painting, but still it gets into your eyes.
Yeah.
And, oh. Then your hair is just goopy. Oh yeah, you painted inside a bit. Oh yeah, I can't open up this door yet.
No. Yeah.
You just quickly just did the door down.
Yep. Just around there.
Blend it all in.
All looks nice.
It's not $1 million paint job, but it's good enough what I wanted.
Yeah.
I want to put my time and effort into a nice body into the Studebaker.
Yeah.
So.
And yeah, like we told you before, we did some test shoots. So if someone wanted to, there's no issue with scuffing this down and shooting a base coat, clear coat, or a single stage on here. We've tested it, so it works fine.
Yeah.
There's no compatibility issues, so that's one reason we did this too, because we knew we weren't going to get this. We weren't going to put this to a show car. But if someone wanted to, we've got it a good 3/4 of the way there. They just have to scuff it down. They can paint it whatever color they want to.
Yep.
And it's so that begs the question: can we use this as a primer? I don't know. It's an epoxy.
Yeah.
Why couldn't we use it as a primer and then shoot color over it? Maybe not black, but we can get white in this. Shoot it with white. Even use it as a high build. I don't know.
I don't know.
It sands very nice. That's
it does.
So
time will tell.
that's what. I'm thinking about that for other projects. Like just use this as a primer and a high build. Like it's half the price. Easy to sand, easy to spray. You don't kill yourself.
Yeah.
You don't lose brain cells. All that stuff. But other than that, I like it. Even though it's a Chevy.
Wow, he actually said he likes it.
Well, even though it's a Chevy. But good old Black & Decker anti-rust epoxy coat. That's what we used.
That's what we caught it here right there. The epoxy.
Epoxy strength. So, but it doesn't come in very many colors. Just black and white and flatter gloss or flatter. They come flatter semi-gloss. In each color. So You don't get, at least that was at the store, Canadian Tire we bought it from, so. We'll have to check the website, see if there's any other colors.
Yeah, there might be, because it's just something new that came
Yeah.
out. So.
I've never heard of Black & Decker paint before. So.
No, no.
Yeah, so we're gonna let this dry for a day, come back to it, and we'll probably end up, well, we have to scuff down the trunk, the rear bumper still, and we'll probably have to scuff this. And if we do have to do a fender door, you can match it. It's no problem matching a flat color, especially black.
Right.
We can just mix it up, and we know the ratio we've been doing, about 30% water. Yeah.
I call it a win.
Yeah. It's better than shit brown and multicolored primers that was on here, so we just increased the dollar value.
That and buying 30 cans of spray bomb.
Yeah.
That's not my thing.
Yeah. So, Merry Christmas. We're doing this on, it's 2 days after Christmas.
And happy holidays.
Happy New Year's.
New Year's after that, Matt.
Yeah. All that stuff, but I think it's time will tell. But it's meant for outdoors. It's meant for like outdoor patio furniture, metal. So can't be any worse than a gray primer car.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it can't be worse. It has to be better than a gray primer car. Has to be. Water soaks through or most gray primers unless you get an epoxy one. And this is basically epoxy, so
Yeah.
bonus. So I think we'll stop blabbering here, and next time, we'll start putting chrome on maybe, and we still have to do some underwords work under the hood stuff. We still have to put the exhaust on.
Yeah.
Emergency brake cable's all done, so start putting we got to paint that stuff, but paint a few things. We got to paint the spoiler and that, but
Yeah.
so thanks for watching, and like always, comment, see what do you think of this? Has anyone else tried a latex? I don't know if there is any more anyone that makes latex epoxy. It's not house paint, but it's like house paint. But yeah. So thanks for watching. Comment, tell us what you think, and we'll get back to you on the next one.